Dallas Cowboys Game Night is presented by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
13-9, your final from Foxborough this afternoon as the Cowboys struggle with the special teams aspect of the game. Some huge blunders, some weird calls. We're going to talk about all of it with you right here on Game Night. Lindsay Draper joined by Nate Newton. And Nate, man, what did this one come down to for you?
Just thinking, communication. When you look at when you come out before a game, 5 to 10 minutes, some guys 90 minutes before a game, they will come out, they'll test the wind, they'll see what the weather's like. And evidently our special teams didn't test the weather, especially on our kickoff teams. They got our kickoff return team, excuse me. You got to understand that sometimes you may have to adjust. That helps your offense get the ball at a decent position instead of on the 11, instead of on the 18. We at least want to get it to the 20 or the 25s, so we'll have an extra first down already in hand. But we didn't do that today. We gave up a block punt. It was just a disaster for our special teams, Ms. Lynn.
So that is what it came down to tonight. We'll have an array of people to hear from, but first up, let's check in with Lyle Collins, who is with Brad Sham and Babe Laufenberg. Guys.
Lindsay, thank you. It's a little drier in the bowels of Gillette Stadium than it was out there on the field. We're with Cowboys offensive tackle Lyle Collins. It's had to be an incredibly frustrating game. At times you moved the ball well enough to feel like you were just about to do something. How did it feel up front there?
You know, it felt like when we was moving the ball, we was moving in the right direction. Feel like at the end of the day, those last-second blocks, last-second just efforts is what made the difference in this game.
And you know that those conditions affect the passing game and the kicking game. Do they affect offensive linemen at all, other than being cold and wet?
I mean, you got to be able to play through all of that. You know, that's
but
what
does it change anything that you do up front?
Honestly, I mean, it does it to a sense, but at the same time, you know, for us, we just look to rise to the occasion. We got to be able to play through everything, no matter what.
And early on, looked like you guys had a good handle in the running game. Zeke was kind of making that 5, 6, 7. Do you have a good feel coming into this game that you'd be able to run the football?
Absolutely. I feel like we could run the football against anybody. I'm real confident in our offense, our team. We just gotta do a better job at just applying pressure instead of sitting back and taking it.
So you've been here long enough now to know what's involved mentally and physically in the Thanksgiving turnaround. Sometimes you have to handle a long trip back like this one. What would be the key in getting immediately in your head into rest and preparation for Buffalo?
This game is behind us now. We can't dwell on this. We got a lot of football left to play. We got a game Thursday. We got to get our eyes for it. We got to get for it quick. So at the end of the day, we just got to get back to work in the morning and just move on.
And usually you have the 24-hour rule, but obviously playing Thursday, you don't really have that much time.
Right.
When will you start digging in on Buffalo and what they do? Obviously a team you're not real familiar with.
Right now, as soon as I get on the plane, I'm going to take a look at it, see what they got going on, and we're going to move forward tomorrow as a team and just keep pressing. That's all we can do.
So you actually be able to look at tape of Buffalo on the airplane?
Yep.
No rest?
Yep.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Get as much rest as you can, as fast as you can. Lyle Collins, Lindsay, back to you.
Fellas, yes, get some rest because it is a short week. Thanksgiving is right around the corner. When we come back, we will hear from Jeff Heath, who is playing through obviously so much pain. We'll check in with him right after this.
This segment is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Welcome back to Cowboys Game Night. You hold the Patriots to 13 points, and a lot of those points came from special teams. How did the Cowboys defense and the secondary play to you, Nate?
The defense played well. I mean, they played okay. And I'm not going to say great because the tackling was still an issue at certain points in the game. They would come out in the first quarter, in the first half, and they would run the ball. They would get 5, they would get 3, they would get 4, and that would put our defense back on his heels. Then they would start passing. So you couldn't lock in on one thing. We couldn't make them one-dimensional. They're not a very good run team, but they ran just enough to keep us honest today.
All right, let's check in with Brad, Sham and Babe Laufenberg, who are now joined by safety Jeff Heath. Guys?
Lindsey, thank you. We wanted to make sure we didn't have to pop Jeff Heath's shoulders back in before we had this conversation. But the Cowboys safety did everything he could in this effort in New England today. First of all, are you in a situation where the thing's popping out and it's got to be popped back in all the time?
No, it's not really dislocating. It's just kind of there's definitely some movement and just some pain. But that's something that you deal with when you play the sport, and especially when you play the position I play. So, luckily for me, I was able to finish the game. But it's going to be something that I have to manage and deal with pretty much for the rest of the season.
You had such a great play on that one breakup late in the game. Then it looked to me like DeMarcus Lawrence came and put his arm around you and made sure nobody got close to you to hurt you anymore and getting you off the field.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's dealt with some shoulder injuries too, obviously. So, yeah, just cool play, I guess.
And they had 10 points on 2 drives that went for a grand total of 15 yards. They had a block punt and then the interception. Other than that, I mean, you gave up 3 points on the night to the New England Patriots. Mm-hmm. I know the whole goal is to have one more than they do,
right.
But if I told you coming into this thing, you basically allow 3 points to their offense, you just say, I'll take that.
Yeah, I think going into the game, we thought we matched up well against their offense. And really, if you've watched them all season, that's kind of what they've done. They've, when their offense is struggling a little bit, they make up for it on special teams. I think in the last 2 years, they have like 7 blocked punts or something. So, we knew going into the game that was going to be something that we had to deal with. And, really frustrating, disappointing that, we gave them that play. And, obviously it was big in the outcome of the game. So when you're playing a good team like that and when you're on the road, just can't afford mistakes like that.
And I hate to even think about it. It took all you could do to kind of get ready for this game, obviously, with your shoulder. Now you sit here, you got to go play a game 4 days later.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, every team in the NFL has got to play a Thursday game, and it's a quick turnaround for all those teams. At this point in the season, everyone's banged up. So, I think just going to have to spend a little extra time in the training room and, luckily this week's mostly mental preparation anyways, so there's not as much physical practice. And, I think I'll be ready to go.
Did you see what happened? Did someone leak through on the punt? Did Slater leak through?
Honestly, I didn't see. I think that's what I heard, but, I haven't watched the play yet. But, we knew they were going to bring a rush, and he's their best player. He's been doing it for a really long time, so he made a play, and definitely frustrating.
I know you're obviously disappointed with the loss today, but Philadelphia also loses. So do you just have to remind yourself, okay, we have a 1-game lead. We play Thursday, and we got Philly again?
Yeah, obviously disappointing, but we're still in first place in our division. Everything we want is still ahead of us. We just want to get into the tournament, and definitely a huge game on Thursday against a good Buffalo team. Who's going to come play us tough. We know what they're about. So, yeah, it's we don't have time to think about this game anyways, but that helps a little bit knowing that everything we want is still ahead of us. We just got to take care of business on Thursday. We just got to win one game.
Jeff, thank you. Lindsey, you talk about a tough guy who puts his body and everything he's got on the line for his team. That's Jeff Heath. Back to you.
So Brad, you took the words right out of my mouth. Jeff is giving it all he's got for this team. Every time we'll be interested to see what he can do on Thursday. When we come back, though, we'll hear from head coach Jason Garrett as well as Jerry Jones right around the corner on Cowboys Game Night.
This segment was brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Play the Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket today. It's your ticket for a chance to win big.
On a short week like this one, Nate, how much time is Jason Garrett realistically going to look at this game with the Patriots before moving on to Buffalo?
It's mostly going to be like the special teams and a few defense offensive plays, and you tell your players, you go through it real quick through on the walkthrough, and then you forget about it. You log it in your memory, and you forget about it because Buffalo coming. It's going to be real quick.
Let's check in with Jason Garrett. Here he is earlier at the podium at Gillette Stadium. We'll hear what the media had to ask him after the game tonight.
Yeah, I think they mixed that up. Certainly Gilmore was on him a lot, but they played different coverages throughout the game, so it probably wasn't on every play.
From the kicking game, they seemed to do a lot of shorter kicks and kind of vary the length. What were they doing there, and how were you responding to that?
Yeah, again, the conditions were a factor, and they were kicking it shorter, and they were hard balls to catch. And in each of those situations, when they did kick it short, one time we fumbled it, one time we just didn't handle it. So the wind and the weather was a factor, and again, we didn't handle the ball quite well enough in those situations and didn't put ourselves in favorable enough field position.
How tough is it to drive on that defense in this weather when you're backed up? I think your best field position was at 36 maybe, and most of the fourth quarter you were at 15 to 8.
Yeah, certainly a challenge. It was a challenge for both offenses today. And again, I thought the defenses played well. It was that kind of a game, cold, rainy, tough conditions to handle the football. So you just have to keep banging away and try to give yourself an opportunity to win the ball game at the end.
Two tripping penalties. Was there any more than any emphasis on that, or were you guys doing anything different?
Yeah, I've never seen that. I've never seen that before.
The stat that you have no wins against a team with a winning record, does that matter? Does it matter being able to play and beat teams that have winning records, good teams, playoff bound teams?
It really doesn't matter to us. Obviously, this is a really good football team. I think they've won 20 in a row in this building, and their history of success is well documented. So we knew it was going to be a great challenge today, and unfortunately, we came up short.
And I think, after the game, Jerry Jones said this is when the Jets loss hurts. This is when the Saints loss really hurts, as you kind of had to narrow in on this Patriots game, and it was bigger than maybe you wanted it to be, but they really, really needed this one today.
Oh, yeah, that way you can stay 2 games ahead of Philadelphia. Right now, we're only 1 game ahead of Philadelphia, and you take this loss and you got to shake it real quick and go into Buffalo, which is 8-3 at this point, and they got a great defense. So you got 2 physical games back-to-back coming at you real quick.
And we will have Jerry Jones coming at you right after these messages here on Cowboys Game Night.
This segment was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Play the Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket today. It's your ticket for a chance to win big.
Blowing. All right, Cowboys Game Night continuing here. Nate, you've been around Jerry Jones for years. You know the man well, and the frustration that he is showing and talking about openly after the game, what does that say to you?
Something got to change. He needs for something to change because he felt coming out of training camp and after this last draft that everything would be in place to make a run into the playoffs, not dribble into the playoffs, but to make a run. And right now we're dribbling.
And with the talent on this roster, you would have expected to make a run, no major injuries. But let's hear from Jerry Jones, owner and general manager of the team himself, following today's loss.
I've had a lot of weather games, not necessarily with Cowboys, but in his collegiate career. So I felt good about it. It is a significant setback for our team. We needed this win. We needed to win against an opponent like this. We haven't had them. And consequently, we're very aware of that. And so we dig a hole that we've got to really have a challenge as we look at the rest of the schedule. But I thought that I'm surprised that we didn't get touchdowns and score touchdowns even in the weather. I thought our defense played well, but that's not their strength either. This year is their offense, and so it didn't surprise me to see us play well. It surprised me to see us really take the setbacks we took in special teams.
You mentioned not scoring touchdowns. What did you feel about the decision to kick the field goal on 4th and 7 late in the game?
Well, when it was fourth down and long, after the leg tripping calls.
Well, this would have been
4th and 7.
Down in the red zone.
Red zone.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to second guess the calls at this particular time in that area, but that at the end of the day, we just got ourselves in this spot of where we need to win a game like this, and you come into New England at this time where these Patriots are, how well they play here, and how acclimated they are to weather. You've really dug your hole back when you were playing the Jets and back when you were playing those guys, when you really look at it. So while we're disappointed, we would like to have had some of those plays go our way. That's what you get.
Why do you think you're struggling winning?
What?
Why do you think you're struggling beating a team that's got a winning record this year?
Well, let's give New England at home a real lot to say about how come we didn't win out here today. But I think we are when we run up against an opponent that gets it together. We have tough time coordinating how we put our offense and our defense out there and have them playing excellent both at the same time. And we also know that special teams, when you've got the ability to get in here and kind of understand that when you're on a sloppy day, special teams can rule the day. And they've got a coach that knows how to play this game and did a good job of that. My hat's off to them.
Special teams has been a problem all year.
Yeah, special teams was the talk of the night. But Nate, are you going to tell me though that all you need is a shot at playoffs, and that's all you can hope for, even though you're 6-5 and should have had this win today?
You want a shot at the playoffs, but it's how you go into the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
We gotta get some traction here. We gotta win 2 or 3 games in a row. You gotta have that confidence that you can compete against anybody. And as of right now, Philadelphia only team that at that time had a winning record that we can compete against to show our team, our young team, that we are ready for the playoffs. Right now, they just better get ready for Buffalo.
And that's what we're going to do when we come back. We're going to wrap up Cowboys game night and look ahead at the crazy schedule that the Cowboys have after this.
Dallas Cowboys Game Night was presented by AT&T, Reliant, and NRG Company. U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Choose VA today. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
All right, as the Cowboys look ahead, here's what they have coming. Nate, in 3 days, you got Buffalo home, Thanksgiving. That next Thursday, 1 week later, you are on the road at Chicago, where I know it's going to be cold, and it is a late night. And you get a little break, a couple games that are going to mean something at the end of the year.
Well, yeah, it's definitely going to mean something. Buffalo coming in, got a top-ranked defense. You're going to have to be ready to be physical and try to handle those guys. Then you got Chicago a week later, another tough physical defense. So the Cowboys finna get into the meat and potatoes, starting with this New England team that's already passed. You're going to have to be focused, ready to go, and try to be as healthy as you can. So the practices can't be physical. You can't run out there acting crazy.
Oh, yeah, no. 15 seconds to go. What's your one way the Cowboys need to turn it around?
Just preparation and be ready to be successful. Preparation.
All in the preparation for Nate Newton. You can check him out all week long on DallasCowboys.com on the Hanging with the Boys podcast. Great stuff. I'm Lindsay Draper, and me and Nate will be back in here in 3 days after the Thanksgiving game. We'll see you then.